Guys, this is wild. This is crazy. Yo, what is going on? Man, I'm not going to lie to you, man. I didn't think I would ever hear this. I didn't think this was coming up. This caught me by surprise. But the Dallas Mavericks have just traded Luka Doncic to the LA Lakers for Anthony freaking Davis, man. What is going on? Look, there's a lot to get into and to unpack about this story. It's still not all the way adding up. It's still not. But from what we can see and from what we're hearing, it really just sounds like the Mavs was just fed up with Luka. And I can see why, bro. Luka got a lot of that LeBron in him. If you're a Laker fan, keep it a buck. This might be good news, man. It might be, but let's be honest. I've watched enough of Luka to see that he has some mentalities, some attitudes that I just don't like, bro. The bad parts of Luka, and you have to talk about the bad first because realistically, something's wrong. Nobody like the Dallas Mavericks ever trades an MVP caliber player like Luka, who just led his team to the finals out the blue like this. This wasn't even an auction block. Nobody knew Luka was available. It's just boom. One day, hey, they must have just called up the Lakers and said, hey, do you want Luka? Either that or LeBron James is really that much of a maniacal dictator that somehow he got this shit to happen. But if I'm being a buck with y'all, I don't even think that's the case, man. I'm going to let them talk a little bit before I chime in, man. But there's a lot of fishy shit going on with this story.
Guys talking, to what degree do you agree that this is something of a franchise baton pass more than a move that can get the Lakers to title contention as a 5 seed this year?
This is not really about the Lakers. It's not really about LeBron. This is about the Dallas Mavericks and Luka Doncic.
To be honest with you, if Brian Windhorst had said that about any other story, I would just say he's a bullshitting ass pig. But to be honest, he might actually have a point on this one because I don't need as much cachet and as much of an evil maniacal dictator LeBron can be. I don't think he got enough pull to just make a team trade their franchise player of this type of ilk. This would be like if you woke up and it was Giannis Antetokounmpo traded for Anthony Davis. I don't think the Bucks owe LeBron that much for this to happen to the point where LeBron pulled this off. This had to be something coming from Dallas. Luka Doncic is a blockbuster talent, but not only that, you have to look at this from a business perspective. He's a marketing genius. You know all the lies that they teach you about LeBron, about how, for the Lakers, he's ticket and jersey sales and all that, even though it's the freaking Lakers? Luka's really that. Luka is one of the only players in the league who's actually clear-cut better than LeBron. It's no debate. They keep having these debates over whether LeBron or AD is better, even though AD is. We clearly know LeBron is like a minus 121 in the PRs of this season. Like, he's a horrible player. But all this talk, like, you can't have that with Giannis. You can't have that with Jokic. You can't have that about Jason Tatum. You damn sure can't have that about Luka. They're better than LeBron. And you can't have it about Shea. They're better than LeBron James, point blank, period. It's not even a conversation. So I don't think, and as much of a narcissist as LeBron James is, why would he really be pushing the trade for somebody who's better than him in that way? It sounds good. It sounds good for the press and the media. But in real life, when they get down to basketball, either he's just that oblivious, and he could be, that he doesn't realize that this is just going to make him look bad because of the lack of defense that this team is now going to have because of Luka Doncic being on this roster and LeBron playing zero defense whatsoever. Either that's the case or it's just really something that Dallas was tired of. So when we talk about this from a Dallas perspective, Luka Doncic is a poor sport. Luka Doncic complains to the refs all day long. He sits there and he plays zero defense. He's almost as bad as LeBron. The biggest difference is offensively, like this dude has every bag you could think of. He can score from anywhere on the floor. He's a phenom. He's truly going to bring that energy back to the Lakers. Like if you're a Laker fan, what you have to like about this trade is that you have never seen an offensive weapon like this since Kobe. The amount of things he can do offensively that surges and brings you energy on a nightly basis by watching him, more Laker fans are going to be tuned in to watch this. They just are. Because as bad as he can be, he's still like a popcorn-ready blockbuster on offense. LeBron is not that. LeBron is honestly a Boardsville. And so is Anthony Davis, as great as Anthony Davis is. So I think the Dallas Mavericks must have just saw this trade. They saw and thought of, the general manager must have thought of the idea of pairing Kyrie Irving with Anthony Davis and realized that honestly, in my opinion, makes them the best duo, at least in the West. They're definitely the best duo in the West. I don't see another duo better than them. And then in the East, outside of like Tatum and Brown, who I think they still could be better than, who else is better than them? It's not Giannis and Dame. Dame's not better than Kyrie. He's just not. Giannis is better than AD, but Dame's not better than Kyrie. Kyrie's actually a two-way player. Dame has a lot of selfishness in his game that he still has to get rid of. But at this point in age, I don't even know if he'll ever be able to. So when you look at this from that perspective, like if they had AD last year and as much of a letdown as Luka was, maybe they just really just looked at Luka and was just like, you know what? I don't see this ever paying off. But if that's the case, then Laker fans be wary because that just means that Luka's a diva. And he's a diva to the point of of it just being a negative experience around him. He might just be a horrible person to be around. You don't really know because he's in the Dallas media, but he might just be a horrible person to be around. He might just be a horrible star and all, just as a whole. We'll see.
This move, I, in the moment here, believe is one of the most stunning trades, one of the biggest and most stunning trades in the history of the league. And obviously, because it is involving a legacy franchise and a legacy player like the Lakers and LeBron, we tend to focus on that. But that's not where the fascinating part is here, is my phone has exploded with agents and executives and players and all people with the game. The focus in the league is the Dallas Mavericks' decision to trade Luka Doncic here. This is basically a rebuke of him. This is them saying that they don't think they can win with him. They're worried about the kind of defense he plays. They're worried about the kind of way he keeps himself in condition. They're worried, obviously, about his ability to focus at the biggest moments. As you know, Phil, I have felt this way about Luka before, but I have always felt he would get past it. I would felt that there would be part of his story. He is 25 years old and he has already qualified for the Supermax, which he was eligible to sign this year. There was no way he wasn't going to sign that contract. He was going to be committed to the Dallas Mavericks. This was a player who was locked in. It was going to be a question of, could he win 2 or 3 MVPs? Could he win 1 or multiple championships? And it was the Dallas...
Ding, ding, ding. But let's be honest, guys. Way back in 2021, after the Lakers won in that bubble, they had this conversation. That was supposed to be the year that Luka Doncic won the MVP. He came into training camp fat as hell. Damn near looked like Brian Windhorst. So it's like he's been supposed to be marketed that way, but he just never did what it took. I think Brian Windhorst, like you kind of hit the nail on the head with that. Maybe the Dallas Mavericks should say, yo, you know what? We gave it enough. And honestly, smart businessmen know to cut bait early than late. They just know to do that. They don't cut bait when, your player's done. It also could be a sense of like, Luka Doncic really has some life-threatening ligament damage. He could be Kawhi Leonard. You know what I'm saying? You really don't want that if you're the Lakers, but it could be something that bad. There's still like a lot that needs to be uncovered and will be over the next couple of days. We could probably bet on that. But as of right now, Luka Doncic is still an all-world talent. But some owners, and you got to give them respect for it, they just don't want to deal with that. They don't want to deal with BS. Nonsense. Why you trade for Anthony Davis? Who knows? But when I watch it, when I listen to this and when I see this trade, a trade like this, there's something rotten in Denmark. It has to be. I was just sitting there. I'm sitting there watching TV. I'm with my family. I'm saying just sipping and drinking on some strawberry Hennessy, minding my business. And my girl's just like, "Yo, the Lakers just traded for this guy." And she shows me a picture of Luka. I'm like, "Yeah, nah, that ain't happen." That's just some clickbait shit. And then she's like, an attitude like, "No, they really traded for him." And I'm like, "What?" Like, nah, that's nonsense. Let me go check real quick. I see a Bleacher Report story says something Luka. So I said, let me scroll down and check. And all I see is Luka's traded for Anthony Davis. And I lost my mind. I'm like, yo, what? Who pushed for this trade? And the Lakers really didn't give up much. Like, you get rid of Anthony Davis. And honestly, for me, I think that's a big L. Because although he wasn't a leader, Anthony Davis is all world. And I think he's the best defensive player in the league, my opinion. Best defensive player. I've always looked at Anthony Davis like, once you get rid of LeBron, he's set to take over the team and set the world on fire. Luka got exposed so much in that final series. And then you also got to realize, like, he just never really worked with bigs. Like, look at how he had got along with Kristaps Porzingis. And a lot of people lambasted, roasted, and disrespected Kristaps. And then he immediately goes to the Celtics and wins a championship. So now everybody's looking at Luka in ownership like we thought it was Kristaps. We're now starting to think it's you. Luckily, you brought us Kyrie. But we're now starting to think it's you. You're the reason why this team isn't where it could be. And if that's the case, and if you're, and they got Klay Thompson too. I always forget they got Klay Thompson. But if that's the case, damn, Anthony Davis, Klay Thompson, and Kyrie is crazy. I forgot about Klay. But even though he's not that good as he used to be. But anyway, when you look at a player like that, and that's the personality they give, it's hard to win with people like that, especially when they don't play no damn defense. Look at LeBron, bro. Look at LeBron. So I think Windhorst got some good points. I think if you're the Lakers, like, yeah, of course you make this trade. But at the same time, I think the good reason for making this trade is like, you can, if this didn't work out, you can trade Luka at any time. As long as, he don't suffer some career ending shit. But now your goal has to be push LeBron out. He has to retire by the end of this season. Push him out. And when you push him out, build around Luka. They're going to see very quickly here that this Luka-LeBron relationship isn't going to work. I'm almost 99% sure of that. You cannot have two players on the floor, no matter how good you think one of them is on offense. You can't have two players like this who play zero defense. And LeBron is too slow to be running up and down the court, keeping up with Luka's pace. I just don't see a reality where both of these players work together on the court. You might actually just see the Lakers, because they got rid of their defensive anchor, you might just see them lose a lot of games over the next 3 weeks. For one, Luka's not even healthy right now. He won't even be back for a few weeks. But for two, when he does come back, and having to tell LeBron to take a break on offense and to give the ball to Luka, oh, he's going to hate that. LeBron always does all this BS talk about having some type of, guard around him. But Luka's not Kyrie. Like, Kyrie was enough talent where, you can go back and forth and, okay, Kyrie, it's my turn. Okay, but we know it's LeBron's team. It's not LeBron's team no more. This is Luka's team. LeBron's going to have to play the Kyrie role and sit his ass back. And honestly, Luka's so big of a blockbuster talent globally that if he doesn't do that, it's a good chance that LeBron gets all the blame. We've never seen that. We've never even entered those territories before because LeBron's never played with somebody that magnanimous. But he might actually get all the blame for this. I doubt it because, the media is always going to suck him off, but he might.
Mavericks who are pulling the plug on that. And not only that, they are not auctioning him off. They are not letting the league know, come to us with your highest bid. This was a pocket deal. This was like a $1 billion mansion changing hands where there was only one bidder as far as we know. And not only that, they didn't even get the entire package from the Lakers. Yes, they got Anthony Davis. They didn't get Austin Reeves. They don't.
Anthony Davis, Max Christie in the 2029 first round. Who would have ever thought Luka would go for that low? Max Kleber. Honestly, that's a good big that you get if you're the Lakers. Markieff Morris, low on the old side. But, some good veteran leadership. It's a lot of young boys on this team. Jalen Hood-Schifino, Clippers second round pick and a Mavs second round pick for this year. I don't know how the Jazz got in this. Who did the Jazz give up? Because Max Christie, okay, Anthony Davis, Max Christie, and the Lakers. That's a Lakers moves. Kleber came from the Mavs, right? And didn't Markieff Morris come from the Mavs? So why are the Jazz even benefited from this? Maybe I'm tripping. Y'all let me know in the comment section. Is Maxi Kleber? He's a Mavs big, right? Am I tripping? Yeah, he's from the Mavs. So what is it? Markieff Morris? Is Markieff Morris? Markieff Morris is from the Mavs. Can somebody explain to me what the hell are the Jazz doing on this trade? What did they give up? They didn't have a Lakers first round pick. They didn't have Max Christie. That's our player. And they didn't have Anthony Davis. Why do the Jazz out of nowhere get Jalen Hood-Schifino, a Clipper second round pick, and a Mavs second round pick? What did they do to make this happen? Maybe there's something they just didn't put on here. That doesn't make any sense to me. But y'all let me know in the comment section if y'all figured that out.
We got one of the two first round picks. The Lakers are still holding a first round pick. How can you trade Luka Doncic and not have the second first round pick? I mean, that's a minor footnote. Okay, now let me switch over to
it must be a salary dump. When I think about it, maybe they just get Jalen Hood-Schifino for contract purposes. And in order to take that contract, they get 2 free second round picks for the deal.
Lakers, because the Mavericks side of this is a far, far more fascinating move. Far, far, far more fascinating move. But okay, switch to the Lakers. LeBron has dreamed about playing with Luka Doncic for years. This is something he never thought, but he badly, badly wanted.
LeBron's been dreaming about playing with everybody. What the fuck does that mean, bro? LeBron want to play with everybody. He want to play with Steph. He want to play with Jokic. He want to play with Luka. He want to play with Giannis. What are you really saying when you say that outside of making it seem like LeBron, is living out some dream? See, this is what I'm talking about. They go to Dick Glazer for LeBron again, bro. What does him wanting to play with Luka have to do with anything? He's wanted to play with everybody. Look at his career. I'm pretty sure if they traded for Jason Tatum, you'd be like, oh, LeBron's been trying to play with Tatum for years. Yeah, he reaches out. He sends emails to everyone. He's a groupie hoe. It's like that hoe who DMs everybody. Like, what does that mean by you saying, oh, she's always wanted me? You and everybody else, bro, get in line. Everybody done passed that around. That's an old blunt.
When Luka was deciding where he was going to go within Nike, LeBron pressed him very hard to come to his shoe brand within Nike. He ended up going with the Jordan brand, but he was trying to recruit him then. He saw a vision of the two of them playing together.
So because he wanted him for his Nike brand with them weak-ass LeBron shoes, that means that he's always wanted Luka. Like, what are you trying to really push when you say that? That sounds like a good business deal. Luka's gonna be a star. I want him on my side so I can make revenue off of him. Like, what else is there really to bring up? That's the reason why Luka was traded, because of some LeBron Nike. Come on, bro. See, people, they just be saying stuff because they just add extras to LeBron. Now people can look at LeBron like he's some prophet or some sage because he wanted Luka. What the fuck does that really mean?
A couple of years ago, Kyrie Irving tried to get LeBron to figure out a way to get to Dallas. And LeBron said, no, Kyrie, come to LA. But, the reason that Kyrie wanted to think to see if that was possible when LeBron was a free agent was because he knew that the Luka-LeBron connection was there. So I'd have to think about it and see them play together. But
Kyrie said that because he knew the Luka-LeBron connection was there, or was it because Kyrie was in the middle of contract negotiations and knew that putting his name around the Lakers and LeBron could get him the deal that he wanted? Stop telling revisionist history, bro. It's not some LeBron's been dying to get with Luka. LeBron's dying to get with everyone. He's the groupie at the hood party. He's that one hood hoe who pop up on Hood Day.
While LeBron is losing a teammate that he's won a championship with, and I'm sure when he was brought with this, he was in shock. I haven't spoken to him or heard from him, but I have to assume that he will have a lot of excitement because he has dreamed of this, and I'm sure he thought it was never going to happen in his career.
Perk, what do you think about all that? It's a lot to we're all digesting this together.
Well, I'm looking at it right now, and the fact is that it seemed like the Dallas Mavericks was fed up with Luka. And this is a message to the rest of the league and to a lot of young guys that you have to be professional. No matter how good you are, you have to show a level of professionalism. And let's be real, Luka Doncic has a history of being out of shape. He has a history of having soft tissue injuries. Why? Because he's not taking care of his body. We saw last year when they were deep in the playoffs that, the great Michael Finley had to go pull a beer from his hand. So at the end of the day, look, I'm going to say this. The Dallas Mavericks has put themselves in a win-now situation, in a great situation. Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving is going to do magic together with the pieces that they have ran under Jason Kidd. Reminding y'all that...
Ding, 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 that's what I just said. Bro, Kyrie, like when we switch this up, Kyrie and Anthony Davis, I just see them being the best duo. Like when you look at the 1-2 punches in the league, they have to be number one or number two. On paper. Let me preface my comments. On paper. I don't know what they're going to be in real life because we ain't seen it. But on paper, that's the best 1-2 punch. And honestly, Kyrie has proven so much in that last year with Dallas. All the hate that he was getting, all the, the vitriol and backlash over his time in Brooklyn where they just, labeled him an insane nut job. And, Kyrie kind of put a lot of that on himself. But it's like, he's that guy, bro. To me, Kyrie is he's a magician. He's a winner. He knows how to win. He's taken the team and basically made the last shot to win a championship. He's one of those guys that when you put him on your team, his talent hasn't wavered. It's actually gotten better. As far as a point guard superstar is concerned, he's one of the better defenders out of all of them. He plays really solid defense, especially in the playoffs. You really have a great defensive team now. You got Lively, you got AD, so you got your bigs, bro. You got Clay, who, and then you got PJ Washington, bro. Real athletic team. Should be real great and extremely great offensively and defensively. This is a better fit for Dallas. It's not the better player. It's not even close. But this is a better fit for their roster. Like, one could make a case that if AD was on this roster in the finals last year and not Luka on paper, they could have won that or taken it to 7. One could make that case. One could also make a case that if this works out, which we should see in the next few weeks, if this works out now, they could get out of the West. That team is talented enough. See, when you look at a team, right, and you go, dang, you got Luka and Kyrie, so you got your point guard and your shooting guard. The rest of the team is filled with roles, but it's nothing serious. You always look at a team like that and go, they can, they'll make it somewhere, and then they exceeded expectations by making it to the finals. But when you take that a guard and put them as a power forward or a center, like you take the same roster, but you take the same talent and move it to a big position, now you look at that roster as devastating because you have your big and you have your guard. You look at it like, imagine if Jokic, instead of him being 6'10", he was 6'6" or 6'7" in a guard. You look at that roster and be like, oh yeah, Michael Porter, blah, 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 this, that, a third, or a center to cover up. It's a good team. But the fact that Jokic is a center, you know what I'm saying? The fact that he's a center, and then you got Murray, who honestly ain't looking too good this year, but Murray as your guard is the reason why you go, that team could win a championship. Because let's be honest, historically speaking, bigs win chips. They just do. Especially when they play defense. When you don't have a big, you need a wing. Small forward. You need a Scottie Pippen. When you don't have a center. It's just how it is. Or a big, I mean. So, when I look at this roster, I'm like, Kyrie? AD? I think that duo is definitely better than the Bucks. I think it's better than Dame and Giannis. Giannis the best player, but Kyrie's better than Dame. Let's just, call it what it is. Then when you look at the Celtics, I don't know if their duo is better. It could be. Could be. I just don't know. They might be the best duo in the league, but I can definitely tell you, I think on paper, from what I can think of, they're the best player in the West. I mean, the best duo in the West for sure.
J. Kidd did coach AD for a minute. He knows AD. He knows what he likes to do. He's going to put him in position to be successful. And the best thing about it is that Anthony Davis doesn't have to play the 5 position. He still have Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford there, so now he could go back to playing the natural 4. Luka is an international superstar. Make no mistake about it. He's a guy.
And I also think, just by the way, to add on what I just said, this also shows that the Mavs they really weren't trying to play games. Because, they already just came out and said that the Mavs didn't call a bunch of people and do a free-for-all auction for Luka, which means that they knew by themselves, like, hey, Anthony Davis is the guy we want. That's basically what the GM and Mark Cuban must have just came up with. Like, if we trade Luka, we want Anthony Davis. If we tell everybody about this, now that just moves the prices up or down. It, alienates Luka. It turns this shit into a Hollywood ball. And we might not even get a trade done at the end of the day and then be expecting Luka to come out of nowhere. But when you sneak up on people and offer a Luka out the blue, of course they're going to say yes. You call that one team, hey, what you think about this? I mean, think about it. If Pat Riley low-key would have did that with Jimmy Butler instead of this turning into what it did, Jimmy Butler might have already been gone. Like, if he would have just called up the Warriors first before anything, hit the news, Jimmy Butler could probably be a Warrior by now.
That's going to go out there and get you 39 and 9 a night. And look, the Lakers, he's going, and the great thing about it is that he's going to team up with a guy in LeBron James, who has known to be one of the best, if not the best, when it comes down to taking care of your body and being a professional. I'm pretty sure Braun is going to take Luka under his wing and teach him how to be a true professional. And there's one person that Luka Doncic will listen to, is one of the greatest players to ever step foot on the basketball court.
You said,
okay, Luka, so this how you do it, all right? Listen. Now, when you take steroid, you make sure you put it in your left ass cheek on the top corner of left ass cheek, okay? You do not take and put it on your right ass cheek. It gives you pain. It makes you upset. Gives you a lot of anger issues on the court. You argue with refs. You get technicals. So make sure you put it on that left ass cheek. That's about all LeBron could teach this dude about conditioning. What are you talking about, Perk? You mean LeBalco? LeBalco teaching him? Yeah, he gonna teach him the right medicinal medicine to take. That's what he gonna do for Luka.
The Mavs side is more captivating, compelling, and intriguing. With what the Mavs have, like Shea mentioned, they were in the finals last year. Does this put them in a
Here we go. Load up. Load up on them roids. Load up, Luka.
position to surpass OKC, Houston, Memphis, some of those other Western Conference teams that are currently ahead of them on the ladder?
I don't know, man. I will say this. I will say this. Anthony Davis went on the record with Shams a couple of days ago and said, I don't want to play center. And now he's going to a situation where he can be the power forward. The Mavericks have a bunch of giants. Derek Lively is their franchise center. AD will be able to play power forward, which is what he wants. He will be able to play alongside Kyrie Irving. He will be able to play for Jason Kidd, with whom he won the championship in 2020. Kidd was on the coaching staff of the Lakers. He is probably shocked about this. It probably hit him out of nowhere. I mean, he signed a long-term contract not too long ago because he wanted to be in LA. He's never, as far as I know, and I mean, like, there's going to be a lot of reporting that a lot of us have to do in the next 24 hours. As far as I know, he has not shown any reason to want to leave. I do think that if they didn't get him a center and the Lakers had a bad finish to the season, that there was going to be some attention put on him in the summer. But I don't think
I think personally that was the biggest disservice that the Lakers ever did to Anthony Davis, was not giving him a center. I think he had beef with Dwight. I still don't know what that was about. But getting rid of a center and making Anthony Davis your center was the biggest disservice they ever did to AD. And I think it led to a couple of the injuries that Anthony Davis had at the end of for the last 4 seasons since 2021. A center like Anthony Davis, bro, watching of basketball, you just realize he's not a center, bro. I don't give a fuck how much small ball the Warriors used to play and how much people worship the small ball. Anthony Davis is not he's a small ball center, I guess, but he's not a center for a permanent spot, and he has been for the Lakers for years. And I think that effed him up to a degree that's really was a disadvantage to him. It really showed people like people would talk trash when he lost to Jokic, and they would talk trash when he went up against Embiid and stuff. But it's bro, Jokic has 40, 50 pounds on AD, bro. Of course he's gonna whoop his ass. Jokic is a legit center. And when you make power forwards, Tim Duncan played center, but not like that, bro. He always had Tiago Splitters around or Robinsons around. He wasn't the Spurs centers for years to come. And for someone who like Anthony Davis, who's been complaining about this for seasons, they should have got a center. We know why they didn't. If we want to talk about why they didn't, it was clearly because LeBron cannot play with a center. He just can't play because LeBron James is a lay it up and dunk guy. He has no offensive bag whatsoever. Centers get in his way. He gets doubled and triple teamed. Especially if the center can't shoot the three. If you don't have a Kevin Love who could spread the floor and he's not even a center, then you just basically bring in a man who stops LeBron from being potent on offense. But that says a lot about LeBron, not Anthony Davis or the center. LeBron honestly doesn't need to be potent on offense because he's fucking old. He should have got rid of that idea and ideology years ago and allowed Anthony Davis to get a center, like a Miles Turner, for example, which would have allowed this team to thrive. They would have thrived. We give Anthony Davis a lot of vitriol, but had he had that Miles Turner trade or a real center around him, half the stuff you talk about Anthony Davis would have been null and void. You saw how he dominated when JaVale McGee was right next to him. Did you guys forget? The only person who wasn't dominating as much was Bron. And it would be even worse now because here it is 4-5 seasons later and LeBron is 40. He just didn't want to get exposed. So they just kept holding off on the center idea unless the center can shoot threes. And by that time, if the center shooting threes, he's not a center then. At that point. I'm going to end this video here though, man, but this was definitely shocking. What did you guys think, man, when y'all heard about this trade? Luka Doncic is officially an LA Laker. So long to Anthony Davis. You got my respect. And at the end of the day, I kind of wish we would have just kept you. I really don't know if this trade is better for the Lakers. I think you get the better talent. I think you get a person who might be able to really be expose LeBron media-wise because he's a blockbuster talent. And I think it's time for you to officially announce that you're going to move on from LeBron. But I also think that there's a good chance the Lakers do something stupid like trade Reeves right now. Like they're gonna need a big. Let's just be honest real quick. The Lakers are gonna need a big. And the only asset to get a legit NBA caliber big would be Reeves. And maybe a pick. But I wouldn't trade the pick. But it's like Reeves. So it's like, and then Reeves kind of becomes more null and void because now you got two ball-dominant ball handlers in Luka and LeBron. The smartest move would be wait till the season ends and tell LeBron he has to retire. We don't want him back. That's the smartest move. Keep Reeves, keep Rui, keep everybody, and then go find a center in free agency. And let's be honest, some center is going to love to come play with Luka. But again, you also run a risk of like if you do trade and give up draft picks and assets for a legit center, that they might not even fit around Luka because he couldn't even make it work with Kristaps. So you really kind of in a hard, effed up position. But I do know one thing, two players who can't play defense and Luka and LeBron is just a recipe for disaster, man. So we'll see where this team ends up. We'll see who wins this trade and who loses it. On paper, you get the best player, you win the trade, so it might be Luka, but we'll see, man. You guys like, comment, subscribe. Appreciate you guys watching these videos. Also, that last video I had, really about to hit 20K real soon, man, so I appreciate all that love that I got on that video, man, and I got more content for you. I'm up out of here.